LOD7 says, I don't know, you choose. That is not a question. Right, so that's the end of the questions on the 100 subs questions and answers. Now we're moving over to the 5,000 subs questions and answers, where probably some of you did ask me questions, but I never answered. Again, I apologize. I'm very sorry. So let's see these new questions. Fallon Constantino asked me 4 questions. Let's see. My Minecraft has no sound. How do we fix it? Sorry, but I'm not qualified to help you fix your computer problems. How do you install multiplayer on Minecraft? You don't install it. You can do it from the start. My real name is Okay, I'm not going to say your real name on a video that possibly thousands of people will see. What do I think of your name? I think your name is very unique and awesome, and I wish that my name were anywhere near as cool as yours. My name is, I believe, the 7th most common name for males in the English language. Michael. Yeah, not very interesting. I wish I had a different name, but oh well, Michael is okay for now. When or if I get... Are we going to play collaborations? Yeah, sorry, I have collaborations with other YouTubers I would love to play, and sometimes do play with my subscribers. If you want to see me, you should go over to Super Robo Play, their channel, because they have a Minecraft server that I sometimes go to if you're looking to play with me. I'll put a link in the description to their channel. They have a Minecraft server that they keep up, and I go on there sometimes and meet subscribers and meet Alex and Jason, but I'm not going to make a Minecraft server of my own because I don't want to keep my computer on 24/7, etc., etc. Also, I mean, who has time to run a server when I have a YouTube channel? What are your computer specs? They're pretty decent. I'll do a write-up of them somewhere, maybe in the description if I remember. What job did you want to do when you were a kid? By Aiden Ross Fitzgibbons? Okay, Mr. or Mrs. Fitzgibbons. What did I want to do when I was a kid? I wanted to do a lot of stuff when I was a kid. I wanted to be an astronaut, obviously. I wanted to be an astronomer. And I was really disappointed when I grew up to find out that astronauts and astronomers are actually, like, different jobs. You can't be both. You have to, like, either go into the military to have a good chance of becoming an astronaut because you need to, like, fly a lot of fighter jets and stuff. Or you can spend lots and lots and lots of time in university and then get your bachelor's degree and master's degree and then your PhD and then try to get a job in like NASA or something like that, and probably you're not going to get a job. And even if you do get a job, you're not going to be paid very well compared to other things you could be doing. So all in all, I'm pretty satisfied with where my life is right now. I make enough money on YouTube and private tutoring, but I still feel I would like to do something in the real space industry, not just encouraging people to join the space industry, but I don't really have time for that. Also, I get the feeling that if I did do something for pay with the chance of me being fired and I have like deadlines and stuff like that, I get the feeling that my passion for space would very quickly turn into sort of a very slight hatred, sort of an annoyance, because doing something you love for money tends to make things go from being hobbies and loves and passions to a job, and I would rather not lose that for space because I'm very excited about space and I don't want to get annoyed at it. I feel there were other things that I wanted to do as a kid. I also wanted to be a marine biologist. If you guys don't know what marine biologists are, they're biologists, they study animals and plants that live in the oceans. Specifically, I wanted to do the oceans. I suppose marine biologists can also do lakes and rivers and ponds, freshwater, but specifically I wanted to do saltwater because I think that the oceans are amazing ecosystems full of amazing creatures that I just want to touch all of them, except for stonefish. Stonefish scared the crap out of me, so don't touch stonefish. I also wanted to be a protostologist. If you don't know what a protostologist is, protists were this extra group, this extra kingdom of like microorganisms that we're not really sure what they are in terms of how to categorize them into plants, animals, fungus, bacteria. So protists were just like these eukaryotic things, eukaryotic microorganisms that no one was really like very sure how to classify them. These days we're using genetics to categorize protists into like animal-like protists and plant-like protists and fungus-like protists. But originally it was much more mysterious, and it still is really mysterious. We don't know anything about protists compared to, say, animals or plants, or even fungus, really. And fungus is really weird when you think about it. So I wanted to be a protistologist. I wanted to study all kinds of protists that are like all over the world, in oceans and in the soil in your backyard and in raw sewage and things like that. I thought that being a microbiologist would be freaking amazing. I still have a textbook on microbiology that I read sometimes because, dude, bacteria and protists are just so cool. What else did I want to be? I wanted to be a few other things. Oh, a linguist. Of course, what I did end up studying. I did end up studying linguistics and Japanese language in university, and I ended up graduating with degrees in Japanese and linguistics, but I didn't actually want to get a job where I like translated Japanese, so I just ended up living in Asia and like traveling around Asia a lot. I realize that most people are probably thinking like, oh, you know, if you study something in university, you should probably like use that in your job. And while that's true in the United States where I'm from, in Japan and in Asia, really what you study in university has nothing to do with what you do as a job. It's really just sort of a piece of paper to be like, yo, I can study and learn stuff. Please hire me. And the rest is just like looking good and making a good impression in your interview. And studying for extra tests that you have to take after university too, like extracurricular certifications. Words. But yeah, so I wanted to be a lot of things, and I ended up deciding to study linguistics and Japanese and East Asian languages, specifically East Asian culture, East Asian literature, and that's where I live now in South Korea. So I guess that decided where I ended up living, but it didn't end up deciding what I ended up doing or what I'm really most passionate about. So that's very interesting. I guess I really just sort of learned how to live in another part of the world so that I could leave the United States. I know some people end up asking about questions about why I left the United States. We'll address that in just a moment as soon as we get to some other things. TNT is Cool 54 asks, I ask this question a lot. The question is, have you ever almost died in a car or person or a shark? Have I ever almost died in a car accident or a person trying to kill me or a shark trying to kill me? If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. Why did you start YouTube? Already answered that one, but for almost dying, I've almost died several times actually in my life. Two really major ones I'll tell you about. The first time I essentially was in a tornado. I wasn't inside a tornado, but there was a tornado very close by when I lived in another part of the United States before I left. I was in a log cabin with my father, and we needed to get out of the log cabin because we lived in the woods, like on a mountain, and we needed to go to civilization just in case like a tree fell across the power lines and we got like stranded up on this mountain. So what we ended up doing was getting ready, and we were about to open the door to get in the car, open the door to go outside to get into the car, and there was this very loud crashing sound, and the log cabin almost shook, basically. We had no idea what it was, but when we opened the door, the entire doorway was blocked by a tree. Yeah, a tree had fallen in our front yard across the patio/porch, and it had blocked the doorway completely. If we had left the log cabin a 5 seconds earlier, we probably would have been crushed by this tree. It wasn't just like a small tree, it was an actual tree. So I could have died then very easily, been crushed by a tree. Also, another time when I was in university and I and my ex-girlfriend had recently had a fight, I was very distracted by my hurt feelings and my very sensitive heart, and I was walking somewhere. I don't remember exactly where, but I was crossing the street, and I was crossing the street when the walk signal was red. Do not do this, ladies and gentlemen. Jaywalking is very stupid and not safe. And as I was walking, because, traffic was stopped because it was also a red light, but I had a red light too. As I was walking across the road, I looked up at the red light and noticed that the next lane was a green turn signal. So I stopped as soon as I saw that and took like a jump back. And as I was going by, a car like zoomed in front of me and turned left. It didn't slow down at all to take this turn left, by the way. It was really reckless driving. But they came incredibly close to hitting me and honked their horn like as they went by me. And I realized that if I hadn't looked up and saw that green turn signal and kept walking, I would have been clipped by this car going really, really fast and very possibly would have broken my legs or possibly really died. So those are the times that I've almost died. The most serious times I almost died. I also had a very serious lung problem when I was younger that I had to have surgery for, but I was never really afraid of dying then. I trust medical personnel really, really well. Actually, I think that medical people are amazing. I wasn't worried about dying then. So those 2 times were the times I came really close to dying, and I've had semi-major surgery in the past, so Okay, how old are you? Like a King 3 asks. I am in my mid-20s. I am not as young as most of my subscribers, but I'm not as old as some of you either. I know that some of you either are lying on your YouTube profiles or demographics is just strange, but apparently there's a decent number of 40-plus-year-olds who watch my videos, and I think what's going on is that some of you have young children that you watch my YouTube videos with, and I think that that's pretty cool. So adults with children watching my channel, and maybe some adults watching it alone. Yeah, so I'm in my mid-20s. I'm not going to tell you exactly how old I am because you don't need to know that. But yes. What motivated you to do YouTube, and how did you get where you are now? By Higgs2176. Higgs, I already answered this question, but how did I get to where I am now? Where we are now is currently about 20,000 subscribers. I got to 20,000 mostly through Minecraft Dinosaurs. Minecraft Dinosaurs was the series that really kicked off our career as a YouTuber, I guess you could say. Also, I get a decent number of people coming in from Kerbal Space Program. Kerbal Space Program is an amazing game. I very much suggest that you buy it. You just missed the Steam sale, actually. It was like 40% off. You could have gotten it for $13. But you had to have bought it before the end of April, I believe, to get all of the future expansions for that price included. So you guys, if you buy it now, you're going to have to buy the expansions. But they'll be amazing, so I encourage you to do that anyway. Congrats on 5,000 subs. Thank you very much, Basement Band. How did you get going on YouTube? I already told you, Basement Band, so I apologize for not answering your question specifically. What's your favorite LP so far? By Hunter7173. My favorite LP. My favorite Let's Play. Probably Kurt J. Mac playing Kerbal Space Program. Kurt J. Mac is an amazing person. I would love nothing more than Kurt J. Mac acknowledging me as, like, a person. He answered one of my questions once. I asked him about YouTube and making money on YouTube, and he answered, but he seemed sort of angry about it because I asked about money, and he doesn't really care about money, so that was sort of embarrassing. But he's answered one of my questions on Far Lands or Bust. He plays Kerbal Space Program. He has over 40 episodes. I watched all of them. He was the one that made me decide to buy Kerbal Space Program, so thank you, Kurt J. Mac, if you ever end up watching this. Those of you who subscribe to both me and Kurt J. Mac, I would appreciate it if you would tell him to watch this video, because Kurt J. Mac, I love you. Keep being a space enthusiast. You are amazing, and you are inspiring future generations of space enthusiasts, just like I'm trying to do now. Thank you very much. Okay, so why did you stop the Spore LP, and when are you starting a new LP? Young Neil, I stopped the Spore LP because YouTube would not listen to me using the whole I didn't get permission from EA to monetize my videos, but I believed that under fair use that I could do that anyway, and if I wanted to claim fair use, I would at this point probably have to like get a lawyer and like go to court. And I don't really want to do that, so I just decided to boycott EA. So screw EA, you guys suck, and I wish that you would let me monetize your gameplay footage because that would be pretty cool, and then we could be friends. But you also sort of ruined Spore. Yeah, Spore was supposed to be a really cool game, and you ruined it for me, so that's what you get, EA. Will you ever do an LP with your subs? Possibly. One of the primary games that I'm thinking about this in the future is Starbound. If you guys don't know about Starbound, you should totally go to their website. playstarbound.com, I think it is. Starbound is going to be an amazing space-based game where you go to different planets, like randomly generated planets with randomly generated weather effects, randomly generated liquids, randomly generated alien life, randomly generated structures, randomly generated difficulty levels. Everything is randomly generated. And you get to explore the universe, basically. It's like Terraria, but many planets and lots more randomly generated stuff, not just the landscape. And it's multiplayer, so if I were playing that, I'm pretty sure I would want to play it with my subscribers because Starbound is going to be amazing. I've already been confirmed for a press copy, which it should come out sometime before the end of this year, the beta. So yeah, we'll talk about that playing with you guys on Starbound. If you want to play with me, you should totally go to their website and pre-order now, because it's going to be cheaper now than it'll ever be in the future. So you need to get it. Get Starbound. I will put a link in the description if I remember. Young Neil. Mysterious Sniper. Mysterious Sniper asks me, why did you leave the USA? This is sort of a personal question, and I said that it was okay to ask personal questions. I would decide if I want to answer or not. I will totally answer this question. So, Mysterious Sniper, I left the USA for multiple reasons. In the USA, I am a relatively young person compared to most politicians. Most politicians are in their 40s. I'm in my mid-20s. I'm very liberal compared to most politicians, and most Americans in general, I think. I'm pretty liberal, especially when I was in university. So, I, for example, believe that healthcare should not be a private industry. I believe that healthcare should be a public industry run by the government so that we are not taken advantage of by private corporations, not only private hospitals, but also private insurance companies. That's the real kicker in American healthcare. Private insurance companies really make it difficult to go to the hospital. Just as an example, for example, dentistry. When I got a root canal, in America, it was like $2,500 when I was a child. A root canal here in South Korea cost $23. $23 for a root canal compared to $2,500 that I paid when I lived in the United States. Or my mother paid, actually. Bless her heart. And yeah, going to the hospital is also very affordable here in Korea. If I'm sick, if I need medicine, I can go to the hospital or go to the pharmacy, and I can get all the medicine that I need for like $7. I can get my cavities fixed if I have a cavity for $10. Yeah, healthcare is very accessible in most of the civilized world, but America's healthcare system is completely screwed up. We have private healthcare industry, private insurance, and it really jacks up the price. And I'm not okay with paying taxes in a country where my taxes aren't being used to help people, but are going to things like war and war profiteering and things like that. I'm not okay with that. Also, public transportation is a necessity, I think, in the future. Korea has public transportation. It has some of the best public transportation in the world. I can travel across the entire Korean peninsula in like 3 hours on a high-speed rail train, and that only cost me like $30. Whereas I realize that Korea is very small, mind you. It's smaller than my home state. So I understand that Korea is small, but the public transportation system in Korea for its size is better than any state that I've ever been to in the United States. So I appreciate that. Crime is also lower here. Our crime rate is non-existent, basically, compared to the US, where a very high wealth disparity and very high levels of poverty cause lots of crime. And I think that crime is sort of scary, especially because guns are legal in the US. Guns are illegal here in Korea, so no one can have guns. I'm pretty sure even the police don't have guns, much like in England. I've never seen a police officer with a gun here in Korea. So if some people do have guns, they're in the military, and they're only allowed to have guns, when they're training or when they're in a war. Military personnel are not allowed to bring guns off of base, so the only people in the entire country with guns are military people, and as a result we have no violent gun crime, like, for example, students shooting up schools. That doesn't happen here in Korea because, first of all, we're a small country, second of all, no guns. I'm sure that some very illegal people do have guns, but it's such a small number that the statistics mean that accidental gun deaths of people who aren't doing anything illegal but accidentally kill themselves because they don't know how to use guns properly, those are also non-existent because we don't have stupid people with guns, because although we do have stupid people, we don't have guns. And stupid people plus guns, very bad combination that America thinks is completely okay, and I'm not cool with that. So, all sorts of reasons I left the United States. Some are personal, some are political, some are economical, lots and lots of reasons. The point is that I enjoy living here more than I enjoyed living in the US, and I have no problems with learning a new language if it means that I get to live in a new country, because new countries are cool anyway. I very strongly encourage all of you to study abroad, to go abroad, and to learn about new cultures, new languages, and new ways of living, because you should do that. It's totally cool. You'll be much smarter for it. And people from other countries will like you much better People don't really like people who've only lived their entire lives in one country and think one country is the best, because such a thing is not true. This is not reality.